Okay, rolling.
This week on the Vegetable Garden Elves, we're going to show you some good examples of spacing for seeds and starts and some bad examples for spacing of seeds and starts.
And we're walking here in the Picardo pea patch, and this is going to be our demonstration garden today. Alright, first of all, I'm going to show you a lettuce patch that's been very heavily overseeded. As you can see right down here, this is looks like a red ruby lettuce. There's probably a few hundred lettuce plants in here. They're the red ones. The green ones are weeds. But it looks like a whole package of lettuce seed was planted right here in an area that could really accommodate probably about a dozen lettuce plants really well. Further along over here, we have probably a couple of hundred turnip plants. So these turnips, probably a couple hundred of them, are all planted in a space that would accommodate, say 9 mature turnips. It would be pretty much impossible to thin these out without damaging their neighbors at this point. They've gotten too big. Over here you see the same thing. Radishes sown entirely too thick. Radishes at this stage should be thinned to at least 1 inch apart. If radishes are crowded, they will never ever form a bulb.
Rolling.
Alright, here's another example. Here we've got some red cabbage. You can see that there's 3 cabbages in each one of these stations. These are kind of close, even for 1 cabbage each, but to try to grow 3 cabbages in this space is not good. There should be at most, ideal spacing would be 1 cabbage here, 1 here, and 1 here. Instead, you've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 cabbages. Another example right here. This is a clump of chard. There's probably 30 chard plants in here. This is the space for 1 chard plant. Once again, you'd never be able to thin these without damaging the roots of the other chard. So these should be separated, pricked out, and transplanted out. If you buy a flat of chard or any vegetable, prick them out individually. As soon as they have, a set of 1 or 2 sets of mature leaves.
And now for good examples of good spacing. So these bok choy are planted on 8-inch centers, and they're almost table size. Look how beautiful they are. And then interplanted, like we learned about a week or so ago, we have lettuces that are also on 8-10-inch centers. And these will grow up and take the space and be really easy to harvest as well. We have some cress here, which will just get thick and full, and I'm imagining the woman that gardens here will just take scissors and just trim them off and sprinkle them on top of her salad. She's got other lettuces back here that are coming on, and she's also got chard here, and they're a little bit tight, but I think that they will work fine.
All right, this is an example of equidistant spacing. You can see these plants are offset, like this row is offset. These are between these 2, not in a parallel row. So there's an equal space between each plant of about 18 inches. And so just by offsetting your rows, you can get them a little bit closer together. It's a slight improvement on row planting.
So these are brassicas, and
Cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbage.
In the brassica family. And we have interplanted lettuce and bok choy and what's this?
Purple bok choy.
Purple bok choy. These little plants that we've interplanted will grow up, and we will harvest them before
30 days.
In 30 days, before the brassicas are full grown. So we're taking a lot of advantage of our growing space here. We're growing intensively, and it's very organized, and we've mulched it with hay to keep our weeds down and the moisture up. kind of what you're shooting for when you're gardening, is to have an intense bed, chock-a-block full of amazing stuff to eat. So we wanted you guys to see this while it's still just, you know, burgeoning with vegetables. And we're actually going to harvest some stuff right now. So Stuart's picking some spinach, and we're going to harvest this red bok choy, right? I'm just going to pull it up.
All right. The one that's bolted.
So these are bolting. So we're going to take them up. And what it means by bolting is that they're starting to change their structure, and they're actually going to be, they're also actually making a flower. So they're going to seed. So it's time to eat them. So when you're harvesting, you try not to destroy everything that you've created. So you take your time and you know, not shake dirt all over all the other plants. Kind of like what Stuart's doing, actually. So, but look at our cauliflower that are wonderful. I don't like cauliflower, but I sure like the plants. They're very beautiful. What else do we have in here? We have kale, we have radicchio.
We've got lettuce, spinach, onions,
Mizuna,
endive, and then a lot of volunteer kale.
It's all, it's like baby size. You could braise it. It would be really nice, really tasty. So there you have it. An intensive garden right here at Picardo in Seattle. From the raspberry patch at Picardo Pea Patch in Seattle, we want to warn you, do not put out your tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, any heat-loving plants outside right now. They're not going to make it. Right?
It's still a little cool even to plant beans out. Beans like warm soil. It's nighttime temperatures at this time of year that'll get you and get your plant. So be patient. A couple more weeks, it'll be warm enough. You can, if you have a cold frame or a hoop cloche,
keep them
you
outside.
can put stuff out a little before you would normally, but don't get too eager. It's still cold out at night.
And what else?
Slug patrol.
Don't forget slugs.
Or to water, or to play in the sunshine.
It is sunny today in Seattle.